What's up, guys, gals, and Book Nook pals? It's Plug the Bunny with another Book Nook unboxing, and we have another special kit today. This one's particularly special because it's a limited release kit, so that's the first time I've seen this in the time that I've been doing these videos. So this is Eternal Midnight Paris, the new Book Nook by Anavrin. They're calling it their Christmas Collector's Edition. It is above their normal price point at $150 US, so it is a pricey kit. $100 is usually around where they sit, and their stuff is always quality. This is a little bit more, and it's also, as they said, limited edition. So once they sell out of this, there is no restock. I'm going to put a link to the kit, which is still currently available, in the description of this video. And that's why this is jumping the line in front of other videos I filmed and other Book Nooks I have yet to film, because I want to get this guy out to you guys before it's gone forever. So let's get into it. All right, so again, with the normal Anavrin packaging with the beautiful story on the back, this telling the story about a jazz club set against the glowing skyline of Paris. And this does, I believe, have some Easter eggs with their old Shanghai kit, which also just came out. I filmed that video recently. I will be putting it up on the channel soon. But again, this is a limited time kit, so I wanted to get it out as quick as possible. They do rate this a 4 out of 5, and of all the companies, Anavrin is really the one where I trust their gauge at their difficulty levels. Those are usually ones I actually listen to. So opening this up, I'm assuming we're going to find the white clamshell pack, not the clamshell, the white packaging recessed for the kit. Yes, we will. And you can see why that's so beneficial. So this kit shipping out, this plastic is meant to absorb the damage. So we know that this acted as a shock protector and most likely protected the quality of the stuff that's inside. And I can hear my dog having a little fit, so before we get into everything, let's take care of that. So time freeze. We're back. All right, so getting into it, we have our expected nicely bound instruction manual with a good spine. My guess is we're going to find our computer rendered instructions on the inside, and we do. So we have graphic renderings of all the kits. It does look like we're gonna have some 3D shrubbery in this, which is pretty neat. And I do like how they always give you tips on how to do things right. They don't just say put this here, they explain to you how to do it. All right, beautiful pictures. Looks like some interesting wiring. We got a computer chip in here, so we may actually have some effects. I do believe there's some twinkling on the Eiffel Tower that lights up. And let's open to the first page to see the second page, to see just how, all right, so 1, 2, 3, 6 LEDs in an LED strip, so not their craziest, but I think the details in here are going to be in the design of the kit itself, and it does seem to be a darker, more ambiance, more moody ambiance of a jazz club in the early 1900s, so that kind of tracks. We see lots of hardware here, tweezers, we got some leather, we got some rope, we got some rivets, different kinds, we got some plants, we got some tags, we got some beads, a bunch of stickers, some wires. There's a lot going on here. So quality instruction manual is normal. All right, we have our 2 different sets of sticker sheets here, and I really love the vintage feel of these stickers here. I'm guessing Lin May is one of those references to their Shanghai kit that they talked about. I like the LPs, not the LPs, the records here with the track lists. And the covers, that's really cool. Some microphone decals. These are really neat posters. I wonder if they're actual posters that they repurposed, or that were open source, or if they're just, custom designed graphics. And I love how they integrated their their name into the logo of this sticker, which I'm sure is going on the outside of the suitcase, because this whole kit is designed to be like a steamer trunk. We got some hefty. This is why you're paying for a premium kit, right? Not necessarily LEDs, but just look at like the heft. I mean, this brick of runners is the size of some entire boxes that I've seen for Book Nooks. So, all right, we're gonna put the overheads on just a little bit here for me so I can see a little better. Nah, all right, I don't like that. We'll go back to this lighting. So again, we got a lot of hardware here. We got some rivets, we got the brackets, we got the shrubbery plants, we got more rivets, we got the rope. All right, we got some, so not just beads, but these are glass beads. So we got some blown glass in here, okay? Again, this is what makes this premium, is this blown glass. This isn't acrylic. This isn't a bunch of 2D circles that you put in a radial pattern to simulate a sphere. These are, 4 pieces of actual blown glass. We have our LED setup, and what I like about these is, if you couldn't tell from that picture, I'll take it out for you guys. Some of the LEDs for the lamps are actual little lamps with an LED chip at the end. So the cool thing about that is you don't have, I'm sure you've all seen on a lot of kits at the lower price point. Probably most recognizable in Sunshine Town. You have that lamp on the front left, it kind of just bends down, and then you have the fixture, and then below it you have just an LED sitting out. And the problem is those LEDs are omnidirectional, right, because of the diffuser head. So when you're looking into the front of your kit, you have an LED shining right in your face. The beauty of this is it's unidirectional, so it's face down, and it's integrated already into the lamp fixture. So you really get a more realistic simulation of what that would look like, and I really appreciate that. These hang tags are beautiful. They're on a nice quality cardstock. This goblet came out really nice. You can see some detailing right up there. Number 2 blue tweezers I like, but what we have to do here with this little, I think they called it a frosted board, but our little emery board, our little sandpaper for the kit, especially a kit this robust, we're going to take that and we're going to get rid of it because it's useless to us. Sorry to the 2 of you in my comments who always comment that you have a good use for it. All right, so it does look like we have an upgrade to the standard tape. So this sheet, it's really hard to tell. I don't know if I can get to focus. But these look like to be tiny squares, about 1 square centimeter. They're probably meant for taping down the wires. You guys know I'm not a fan of the ones that typically come with them. This seems to be a new design, so I'm willing to give it a chance before I abandon it for my traditional method of just gluing the ever-loving shit out of them or just sticking them in the corner. Some cool leather here with some rivet holes, which I'm sure will pop those rivets in. Some felt. I'm assuming this is going to be for like the couch cushions. This will go over the pieces. And what I will say about this that I really like, some more of that. Minuit Eternal. So Eternal Midnight. Duh, that's the name of the kit. Sorry about that. What I like about this felt is it's already on an adhesive backing, so it's designed to easily be stuck. You don't have to mess around with a lot of glue. Recently, I finally finished my first Grail project when I started doing Book Nooks. Was I wanted to get all 4 of the Cute Bee common rooms from their Harry Potter copies. And I just finished the last one, which included a couch where you had to use a sticker curved over the edge of the couch to make the side cushions. And I love the kit in general, but I absolutely hated that element. So I'm really excited to see how that felt works with this. I'm gonna just temporarily put these decals in here. Actually, you know what? I don't want them to get bent, so we're gonna move them over here with the instruction manual, and we're going to take a look at these pieces. And I want to focus on something really quick here. Again, if you're opening your pieces, make sure you serpentine on the top. You do not want to cut down into your runners and break them, and you might have to use a little more pressure than you want. I'd rather have to go through twice than risk too much pressure on the first one. So another thing I wanted to showcase right off the bat, just to really kind of illustrate why Anavrin is in the category and price point it is. If you look at these notches, okay, we've come up with a lot of different solutions in the community as to how to organize these while we're building them, keep everything in order so you know which pieces you're grabbing first. These are actually index marks so that you know that when these all line up like this, all of your runners are in order. Okay, your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so forth. That's just a quality of design, you know, a quality of life design feature that really illustrates why this is at a higher price point to begin with, let alone a limited edition version like this. So I just wanted to call that out because I thought that was kind of neat feature. We have our dust protector from the front. We go all the way to P, guys, all the way to P. So, you know, most kits, some have, you know, F or G. Also, majority of kits skip I. If you guys know why they skip I, the letter I in most kits, is it like why there's no 13th floor or in certain buildings? If it's a custom, if it's a bad luck number, or something, if you guys know, please put in the comments. Let me know. So we have P right here. We're starting with double-sided. Or not starting with double-sided. I will say these kits tend to go with more pieces, single-side printing, so they can just do more facets of a front-facing piece than some other kits, which will utilize double-sided printing more so that they can cut down on their piece count. It's an interesting design change. Okay, so I'm gonna make a minor complaint, but a complaint nonetheless. I don't like how the D is a flat piece. Now, you guys know I am a fan of the paper aspect of this craft. I do like the different thicknesses of the different materials, but the fact that it's D means that you're either going to have to place it out of order in your storage when you're building this kit, or it's going to get in the way and risk getting bent being in between all the pieces. I mean, you can tell even they shipped it at the end because they know it doesn't belong inside the pieces. So I would have liked this to have seen this is the R or the T or whatever at the end, but what are you gonna do? So we got some records, different sizes. Looks like the labels that go inside some of the records, or maybe they're 45s versus other sizes. I'm not gonna try and guess record things. I don't want to age myself. We have different symbols for the drum kit that's going to be in there. Some cool photographs. And one of my favorite features, you guys, if you look at the boxes here, you see the perforations to make them easy to fold, especially with paper. It's not a decal. This is a little thicker cardstock. That would be a pain. We do have our outside pieces, which are like that. Like I said, that beautiful steam trunk texture. And again, don't love that they made these other material pieces middle letters, but what are you going to do? I'm sure it makes sense more numerically with the instructions of the kit. This does look like it's primarily our Eiffel Tower in acrylic, so guys, just be careful while you're popping these pieces out. Acrylic is fragile, but you have your Eiffel Tower here. Does look like a hinged piece here for the base, so again, just take time with that. Be careful. I find a useful way to do that is to score the connection points with your hobby knife lightly on both sides, and it does make, and when you push, make sure you're supporting on both sides, and you push out. And if you push around those connection points after you've weakened them, it does significantly reduce the chances of breaking your acrylic, because acrylic is definitely more prone to snapping. All right, what I've found to be standard in these kits from Anavrin these days is the internal structure piece. You guys, if you've watched my videos before, you should know that the presence of a runner that is completely not printed on both sides is almost always a good indication of the quality of the kit. This is usually an indication that there is an internal structure, a skeleton to the kit to provide reinforcement and strength that indicates you're going to have a well constructed, well built kit. So happy to see that. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out the best zoom. There we go. Okay. Looks like we got some more instrumentation here. We got an electric guitar, some speakers, a fiddle or a cello in a case. Is it broken? It does seem to be at a weird angle, but I don't know. This looks like to be the structure of our drum kit. Keyboard here. All right. Single-sided print, but again, looks like they're going for multiple facets, single-sided printed over double-side print, and that's we're gonna have to see how it comes out, but I mean, based on the pictures of this kit in the marketing, it does look like it's going to work out in the end. It looks like we got a turntable here, another record here, some suitcases. These might be our couch cushions. Midnight Eternal Jazz Live, Tout le Soir. Another jazz puzzle here. One thing is, guys, while I'm opening up this kit, a lot of times people complain about the odor of some of these kits when they open them up. You get like a chemical smell from either the laser cutting, well, it's probably the laser cutting through the printed press board. This just smells like wood. Like it smells like you've been sanding in a shop. It's got that wood smell. So it does still have a smell, as most of these kits do. Definitely a more pleasing odor than some. It's going to be our back window and some more of the layout. Some really intricate bordering here, and this is going to be our top. Oh, and we're lucky we get to poke out a piece. I always like doing this. We'll do it upside down. Oh. Let's be careful. All right, see right here. One piece held out from the laser cutter. No, let's not use the knife to do that. Let's use, this is riveting for you guys, I'm sure. Let's use a pair of tweezers and we'll, ooh, what's really in there? There we go, good, we didn't break anything. That's just fun for me. And now we see our double-sided printing is coming into effect because they're using it when it's necessary. Some different types of wine or beer bottles here. This is our microphone. You know, I'm not even gonna try the French. If you guys know what this means, please. I'm too lazy to grab my phone and do Google Translate. Also, I'm filming this with my phone, so if you want, translate this for me and put it in the comments. Let's get a good conversation going. All right. Not too much going on this sheet. Got some saxophones. All right. We got our upright bass. Looks like it's going to be in multiple pieces. And then we have our back piece. And I'm guessing this is our lamp post for those lamps. That's really cool. And I do, you know, there's a couple references, I think, to the old Shanghai kit here. Some of those posters, they said the name of the club